Greetings, audience, and thank you for being present today. We are the Southerners. I am Nora, this is Ira, Elaine, and Alyssa. Our purpose here today is to bring to you a new and improved version of Langley City, our Terra City.
Langley continues to change and progress as the years pass by, and that is the undeniable truth. And so we asked ourselves, what will Langley become 50 years into the future? And to start this inquiry, we narrow down our scope to Langley City, as it hosts many lands that have not been brought to their full potential. After surveying its residents, we learned that Langley City currently suffers from many issues, such as congested transportation, bad road conditions, low density, and rundown housing.
We decided to focus on housing, accessibility, and culture, as these factors are keystone aspects in Langley's growth. To improve the overall living quality, we plan to remove these issues while keeping the future in mind. Project Terra City is an all-encompassing and welcoming community, set to serve all citizens' greatest needs. We will provide accessibility, affordability, and most importantly, comfort.
We offer high-density housing areas for over 2,900 citizens in the Langley City area with close and accommodating neighborhoods. The housing will be sustainable, featuring roof gardens, reusable rainwater, and many other features. We have also kept in mind the transition from Langley City and to the rest of Langley, ranging from higher density buildings such as mid-rise and transit-oriented residentials, which host 12 to 15 stories, including suburban residentials and ground-oriented homes that host 3 to 6 stories. This way we can blend the culture of Langley Township's neighborhood lifestyle into Langley City's plans for the high-density Terra City.
As you will see on your map handout, we seek to build upwards instead of outwards, changing a large proportion of the current suburban and ground-oriented homes to mid-rise residential and mixed-use buildings that place business and residents together to help enforce a work-play lifestyle that the current and expected generations will continue to seek. In consideration of the flooding near the Nikomaco River, buildings will be mid-rise to help cope the dangers of sinking or eroding grounds. This change over to high density will increase the number of available housing and stores. We plan to encourage more indigenous businesses and incorporate their artwork into our buildings. Langley City's cultural identity is built on artwork, as seen in its many festivals, events, and murals. By incorporating more indigenous arts, we also reinforcing Langley City's original culture. To ensure that this will properly represent the indigenous community, we had a discussion with Ms. Jubenville, a program assistant from the Lower Fraser Valley Aboriginal Society. She was an avid supporter of these ideas and highly encouraged them. We plan to allow First Peoples artists to have free reign over all the art choices. This will help ensure that this is appreciation and not appropriation. Furthermore, all steps forward in these areas will be overseen by members of the indigenous community. Terra City will also feature non-market housing. Non-market housing is housing that only costs the basic operating fees for residencies. This sounds almost too good to be true, but we see housing as a basic human right and we plan to make that work. Of course, we still need to pay for the construction costs. These construction fees will be added on to the initial housing costs, but will later be removed when fully paid off. Non-market housing is the opposite of market housing. It gets cheaper over time.
These residential areas will all be close quarters to service centers and immediate commodities, such as grocery stores, restaurants, and shopping centers. In each hub of residential housing, there are 2 or 3 schools, at least 1 hospital, and a fire station. But however, what exactly do these buildings entail?
Good question. All of them will include a plumbing system that utilizes rainwater. The buildings will have a system to collect and store rainwater and will then filter it so it is drinkable. This water will predominantly be used for flushing toilets, dishwashers, laundry machines, and running tap water. Transporting water all accounts for a lot of energy and creates a major carbon footprint. By using the water we have locally, we are reducing the amount of water that needs to be transported.
Terra City's buildings will also include greenery, such as roof gardens and moss walls. Cities naturally don't have a lot of space for plants, but by incorporating them into the buildings, we open up more space for them. And not only do they have a positive impact on our environment by reducing the likelihood of flooding, improving air quality, and providing cooling and shade, greenery is also vital to our society and our mental health. We are learning that greenery has many benefits, such as soothing anxiety and bringing about more positive emotions in our daily lives.
Over 86% of Langley City residents are dependent on cars, which alludes to the lack of accessibility to communal services. This car dependency is partially because of Langley City's current organization of utilities caused by the rapid changes Langley City had to accommodate. Not only does this clog up the roads and reduce city space, but cost also costs thousands to upkeep for families. This financial expectation is especially unrealistic to the lower income groups, which will only increase given the rising inflation rates.
To combat this, we redesigned our roads to offer 4 lanes in total, 2 bus-dedicated lanes, and 2 narrower streets for personal driving. This forces slower driving due to its width. The introduction of buses is to reduce our carbon emissions and overall The introduction of buses is to reduce our carbon footprints and overall gas emissions with eco-friendly buses. We plan to run buses that utilize green technology such as hydrogen fuel cells, as indicated in the brochure. And by incorporating this bus-dedicated system, we can redirect citizens to the usage of buses over using personal gas-dependent vehicles. This will reduce greenhouse gas emissions, traffic, and the likelihood of car crashes.
While this may all sound like a dream come true, it is very much possible. The problem is that people are afraid of change and prefer to stick to a more comfortable and limited progression. However, if we have the courage to step outside the box, we can enhance Langley City's current living condition. Project Terra City will provide the citizens of Langley City with sustainable housing and accessible community, and a culture that they can take pride in. It's a future that you wouldn't want to miss out on. We are Team Southerners, and thank you for listening to us.